Ah, our bookshelves. They're more than just furniture, they're a reflection of who we are as readers, collectors, and let's be honest, procrastinators. Today, I am tackling my yearly bookshelf clean, pulling every single book off my shelves, cleaning, reorganizing, and answering some, shall we say, controversial questions about how we treat our books. Will my current system hold up, or will it all spiral into chaos? Forecast is fairly good. But this is more than just a cleaning spree. It's a journey into the quirks and complexities of being a book lover. What does it take for me to keep a book? What do I really think about stacking books horizontally? And how do I avoid my TBR from becoming a sentient being? These are big questions, folks. But here's the thing is, as I'm working through this, I can already tell that there are going to be decisions I regret. There are going to be books I question why I own, and maybe some covers that make me question my taste entirely. So stick around to see what stays, what ends up in the book bin, and what I discover about my shelves and myself along the way. Now, cleaning shelves. This might sound simple, but trust me, this is going to get weirdly personal. So grab your beverage of choice, settle in, and join me for the shelf respect tag. And hey, while you're here, tell me, how do you organize your books? Or do you just pile them all up and hope that gravity does the rest? No judgment on that last one. Maybe a little, maybe a little. I'm Nick. This is Dr. Cranky Pants Reads. Let's get these shelves in shape. Both physically and emotionally. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It is nearly January, which means it is time for some New Year cleaning. And part of that are these monstrosities. These are my humble bookshelves upon which my tomes reside. When I saw this tag on CG Rated Books, I was like, ooh, I could pair that with a domestic task because that feels like it's something appropriate in late capitalism. So here we are. No one tagged me to do this. I'm going to be real honest. I'm just inserting myself into the conversation. And I have done some research, though. Quite a few of people that I subscribe to have done this tag, so I will link their videos down below. I am embedding this in some activity because otherwise I don't think that this is ever going to get done. I'm going to go a little bit out of order with this book tag. This book tag's origins I will have in the description below because we're going to get to cleaning. It's got to happen. So let's start with question number 3. Actually, the question of, do I keep all of the books that I've read or only the most cherished? Well, if you have watched my Unhaul video, you know that I have a book bin, a book box, that books I don't think I'm going to reread again, or books that I can't give to someone that I think they might actually be interested in reading, that's where they live. It is currently empty because I just did that 4 days ago. I literally was at Half Price Books 4 days ago. So book bin is empty. However, there might be some things on these shelves that can go in there. So normally it takes a lot for me to hold on to a book. I need to really love it, or I need to be thinking about that character. This is Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. This is one of my absolute favorite books, and I don't know if I'm going to read it again, quite honestly. I probably will at some point, but I keep a copy around so that I have one when someone expresses, oh, hey, I need a good book, and I can be like, here, you can thank me later. And I love that moment. I love having that moment. I really did love this book, and I'm happy to have a copy on hand. Oh, number 6. Do you put books horizontally in your bookshelves? Yes. Yes, I do. So most of the time it's partially because we'll talk about organization in a minute, but sometimes there's just not room on that shelf. And so that's what I do. So yes, horizontal happens. A lot of the books that I really hold on to are my academic books, and those are my office. So there's that. Let's move on to number 4. Does the style and quality of your bookshelves matter? So these are IKEA Billy Bookshelves. I bought them. Oh gosh, I'm old. I bought them 14 years ago. Oh, I bought them 14 years ago. They've moved with me to several cities, and every city they've been fine. They're for a piece of furniture that is pretty much held together like it was constructed by MacGyver. They've done pretty well. I've been pretty impressed. So I really enjoyed the style of these. They were what I could afford at that point in time. And the thing that I really love about them are the doors. The doors are a must for me. When we start cleaning, you'll get a look at these bottom shelves, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. We all have secrets. Feel free to judge. If it makes you feel better, I will take that on. It's okay. But essentially, I need to hide my shame. I need to hide my crafty, cookbooky shame, and it happens down here. So those doors are important. I like the doors as a feature. It also keeps the dust out, so it's not going to be as dusty in there as it could potentially be if they were wide open. And yeah, that's a feature that I will probably never go back on. Bookshelves with doors for life. I am team door. Totally team door. Do I have any complaints about the construction? I mean, do I have complaints about myself? Because I am the one who constructed these. And I think the only thing I would really change here is there is a gap between the doors. They don't quite match up. They match up enough. They match up enough. If you squint, if you don't look at it, if you don't live with it like I do, you don't notice. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're moving on. Okay, so those are my bookshelves. We've talked about them as actual pieces of furniture. Now I'm going to get them unloaded and start cleaning. Do it for the tube. It's the next day, and I meant to get that cleaning done yesterday, but realized that I had a thing I needed to be at that I thought was today, but it was yesterday. Good times. 'Tis the season. So let's get back to some questions from this tag, because now that my shelves are vacuumed and wiped down, and I've cleaned the glass and wiped down the front doors, I'm ready to start putting books back on shelves, which is a perfect time to talk about question number 1, which is actually, how do I organize books on my shelves? I am not a Roy G. Biv household. Like, it looks pretty, but at the end of the day, I need to be able to find the books I need on my shelves. So I tend to go thematically with my shelves. Typically, it's nonfiction goes up here, and then workbooks tend to go here. This tends to be a little bit of overflow and productivity, bullet journal stuff here. This tends to be middle grades. And then these two are fiction. And then down below on both of those, like, lower shelves are like typically catch-all areas. I probably should not have catch-all areas because they just create mess. And unlike Marie Kondo, mess does not bring me joy. So when I get to putting books back on shelves. That's the typical organization that I'm going to use. I'm going to continue to use it unless something strikes me and I go, oh, a new way to think about this. So there's that possibility. Always open to possibility, always open to improvement. Question number 2, have I ever merged my book collection with a significant other's? No, I have not. The closest I came was with my college significant other, and there was stuff at my house of his, there was stuff at his house of mine, but it wasn't like a merging. I don't necessarily know that that would be problematic because I'm pretty go with the flow about things. But that has not had to happen. In fact, this is something my therapist brings up quite a bit, where they're like, you know, if you were to be in a relationship, I don't know that you could handle it because you'd have to merge things. You've lived on your own for so long. And I'm like, yep, genuine concern. Genuine concern. Are we going to worry about it right now? No, because is it a concern? Absolutely not. We're just moving forward. No. Do I write my name and my price? No. I used to write my name in all of my books. And a couple of years ago, when I started really using the book bin as a strategy to get books that I had read and was not able to pass on to anyone out of like my collection, that really stopped the labeling of my books. And I'm okay with it, unless it's a book that I truly, truly love. Like I said, a book that I'm keeping because I think about the characters, or it was a gift and it means a particular thing to me. I don't list name and I don't list price. Usually, because I shop at used bookstores a lot, there will be an amount written on the front page, but I don't do that. They do that. Let's get some books on some shelves because they are all over my dining room table, and I would like to use my dining room table again at some point. So I'm going to start getting things done, and then we will wrap up this tag once I've got my bookshelves ready to go. Number 8 on this book tag is, what are 5 dust jackets or book covers that you like? So as I was pulling books off the shelves, I was paying attention to which ones I resonated with and which ones I keep around. And that's going to be the 5 that we are going to look at. This is The Great Gatsby. This is the Coralie Bickford Smith edition. And back in 2010, I loved these when they first came out. I felt like Coralie Bickford Smith's work, her graphic design around a lot of the Penguin classics, and then this Fitzgerald set was just spot on. But I have Great Gatsby, one of my favorite books, and then I have Beautiful and the Damned up there. And every once in a while I come across them in used bookstores. And I do actually read these every once in a while. You're going to see that same thing in The Shrines of Gaiety. This is a book that takes place in the 1920s, height of Art Deco. This cover, just the design, it's very William Morris. It's very arts and crafts. It's just very much me being here for it. And I love the gilding and the color, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, I think. Same kind of thing with Empty Mansions. I really was drawn to the font on this one. I really loved The coloring as well, the dark into the light, that ombre kind of effect. So night sky into the limestone, I think that's limestone, of the house, but gorgeous. There is something about this cover. There's this very kind of mid-century cover for this book, For Brideshead Revisited by Waugh. And this is my particular favorite, and I think it's the color plus the kind of like block print feel that you get from this that just makes me really, really happy. Sue Perkins, Spectacles, just how perfect is this book in terms of the design? Like whoever was designing this cover had all pistons firing, the hair, the glasses are on the spine, the purple foil. It's just, chef's kiss, so good. And just, can we talk about these end papers? I just love these end papers so much. Now let's talk about number 9, book covers that I don't necessarily love, but you know, they're there. Things happened. This is Hans Fallada's Nightmare in Berlin. And is it a nightmare in Berlin or is it Christmas in Berlin? What exactly is happening here? There's not enough going on this cover to like really give me a sense of what's happening. It feels like, I don't know, I get that his work is older, and so oftentimes older titles don't get the attention from the graphic designers that they should, but this just feels a little phoned in. I think that the image should have been saturated a little bit more. If it wasn't so white, if it was more grayscale, that might work, because I really actually do like the font. This reminds me of like good old movie font, and that would be appropriate given the timeline, but it feels like there's something off here, and I don't quite know what it is. This is a Farewell to Arms. This reminds me of a late 90s Barnes & Noble, but run down Barnes & Noble. I've never really loved these particular editions. I just never have cared for them. But A Farewell to Arms is one of those books that I have not read. I started it and kind of need to finish it. Thanks for the feedback. I feel like this particular cover is very different in the United Kingdom, and this one kind of feels phoned in, to be really honest. I would like something different for this cover, just because there's not really much to talk about here. This is I Wish My Teacher Knew. This is a book that gets used in my program, and so I bought it to read it. And automatically my bias is any book about teaching that invokes this kind of like kid handwriting kind of font for anything is automatically going to be a no from me, because I am a professional and teachers are professionals, and why are you kind of infantilizing us? Things I wish my teacher knew. Give it to me in a good like Garamond. Give it to me in an adult font. I spend my day thinking about how to teach children. That doesn't mean that I want the books that I read about them to be like child-centric. Also, academic books, just in large, tend to have really like crappy covers. This is 10 Steps to Complex Learning. It's actually a really good book. It's a really smart book, but this looks like someone took a PowerPoint and threw it into Microsoft Paint, and this is what we got. This is what we got. Who chose these colors? I have questions that I would like you to answer. And this really, I don't know if you can see it, this really, who put this on the cover? Because there's no way that I'm gonna have any idea of what this is. Like, is this meant to get me to buy this book? Like, oh, look, here's all the complexity. I don't want that. Make me want to read it. This isn't making me want to read it. This makes me want to like go to sleep. It's just, ugh. Thankfully, it is a good book. This is actually my second copy of this particular book, because 3rd edition. And it's just a terrible cover. And so many academic books are terrible covers. So many are terrible covers. Because apparently we don't care about graphic design. At all. At all. At all. So let's wrap this tag up with the last question of, is there such a thing as too many books? There's two ways to think about this question. One is as a book collector. If you are someone for whom your joy is collecting the entire set of something, if your joy is collecting all of an author's works or an entire set of editions, I'm thinking about those Coralie Bickford Smith Fitzgerald books, there's some joy in that, in collecting those for me. Do I read all of them? Maybe just The Great Gatsby, but there's some purpose in that, right? But I don't necessarily want to collect everything. I don't need to hold on to everything because as someone who's moved several times, I know that these things are heavy and I don't want them to weigh my life down, right? As a reader with a TBR, I also don't want my TBR to become so huge that this lady starts showing up.
Okay. My name is Dr. Robin Zazio. I'm a clinical psychologist and I specialize in obsessive compulsive disorder and compulsive hoarding.
And my ability to make some rational decisions about what I want to read next is hindered. I don't want my TBR, I don't want my book collection to incapacitate me, ever. And that's one of the reasons why I went to the book bin system, because I realized that I wasn't coming back to a majority of the books that I read, actually. And so I started leveraging my library much more than I normally would. And I started engaging in the circular economy of used bookstores. And that's how that works with the books that I purchase for myself. So can there be such a thing as too many books? Yeah, I think there is. If you're finding your book collection to be immobilizing, then yeah, it's probably a little big. But if it's manageable, I think not the best backdrop, but this feels manageable to me. It feels like there's room for my favorites, there's room for my working books, there's room for the books that I want to read and move forward on. And in 2025, I'm really looking forward to making my way through some of these. I won't make it through all of them, but I'm okay with that. There's space. I will make it through some of them and it'll be enough. So, yes. The answer is yes. There is such a thing as too many books. This wraps up this video about the Shelf Respect book tag. Check in the description for others who have also done this book tag and be sure to go leave them some love. Reminder that my release schedule has changed. I'm releasing a long form on Tuesday and on Thursday, along with my short every day. So on Thursday, we're going to be talking through my 5 picks for books to help get you out of a reading slump. It's the new year. Maybe reading is something that you want to do in the new year. And so I'm going to go over 5 titles that I think are really strong contenders for getting you into a book. And I'm going to go over why. So join me for that video. And I hope everyone is settling into 2025 well. And as always, I appreciate you. And I hope life is good. I will see you in the next one.